Clearly, what we're doing in animal welfare in this country right now is not working. Despite what you might hear from some of the big animal welfare organizations, the crisis is getting worse every day. On the ground, through more than 220 shelter visits now, we are seeing something very different than they're telling you. Every animal crisis is local, and it must be solved at the local level. The resources in one community can be vastly different from the next, so they need different solutions. No one can offer you a one-size-fits-all solution because they don't know your specific situation. You have to start by looking at the structure of your situation. Is your shelter under the Department of Agriculture or Public Works or some other department? And does it answer to a sheriff, a county council, or another elected official? Is it a nonprofit contracted to handle animal services or just to house animals brought in by officers? Or is there no formal shelter and nonprofit rescues are filling in the gap? We see that a lot, especially in Mississippi. Is there a budget for the shelter? Who determines that? Is the shelter dependent on fundraising? You need to think about all of those questions and then look at the laws that you have in place. Are there licensing systems or cruelty ordinances? Is the shelter legally obligated to pick up every stray? And is there a spay-neuter requirement for adoption? Are there laws about puppy sales, and do breeders need a license? These are all laws that you need to figure out. Are they helping or hindering, or do you need new ones? And finally, what is your specific community dealing with? This will have a big bearing on how you solve your crisis. Do you have a lot of backyard breeding? Do you have a lot of poverty? Are there military bases nearby? Is it a tourist town? Is there dog fighting? Is there puppy mills? Is your community very transient? Do you have a bedroom community? Or do you have a large senior population? All of those things are going to affect how you solve your shelter crisis. And you've got to consider them before you begin to develop those solutions. In my book, Who Will Let the Dogs Out?, I wrote extensively about 3 pillars that every shelter needs to succeed. And even though that book came out over a year ago, and already, because things are changing so fast, I wish I could rewrite it, I still stand by those 3 pillars. They're really critical. If your shelter is going to succeed, it needs 3 things. First, it needs leadership. It needs leadership committed to creating a shelter that truly shelters dogs. This means treating the facility as a public resource rather than a hidden utility. Leadership cannot simply focus on numbers. It must focus on a system that not only saves lives, but serves the community. Leadership must be open to new ideas. We can't keep doing things the way we've been doing them. What we're doing isn't working, and it's time to try new things. And most importantly, leadership must engage and empower its community to be part of the shelter's work. That's really the key. So look at your leadership first. Too often, the average citizen has no idea who has ultimate authority. So find out and start there. The second pillar is affordable, accessible veterinary care. I know this is tough because of the national veterinary shortage and the rise of private equity systems, but I've watched smart shelters pivot. We've seen shelters that are building their own in-house clinics, not just for their shelter dogs, but for the community. With vet schools opening more slots, smart communities will figure out how to attract those new graduates. Without affordable, accessible care, the intake of animals from families who simply can't afford a vet will never stop. And dogs will linger longer in your shelters, and some will die because they can't get the care they truly need. The third pillar, and I think the most important of them all, is community engagement. This is the heart of it all. Your community is your biggest asset. They're the key. If you aren't utilizing them for fostering, transporting, advocacy, training, and humane education, you will always struggle. The shelter is theirs. So open your doors and your community will open their hearts. Find every reason to get people to the shelter and then give them a meaningful way to help. After all, the animals belong to them. This crisis doesn't belong to the shelter staff, and it doesn't belong to the government. It belongs to all of us. The burden of saving them all is unrealistic and unfair to put on a shelter alone. The only way out of this crisis is through it, together. If you want to talk solutions, please reach out. We would love to hear your ideas and share ours. Our book, Who Will Let the Dogs Out, is available for free to shelters and rescues, but it's also available on Amazon if you're curious. Hey, I know none of this is easy, but I also know the solutions aren't that hard. I really do believe that together we can let the dogs out.